Guys, welcome. Today we'll be introducing on Black deck build post BT3. So the main deck runs around being defensive while at the same time having some sort of offensive power push to end game. Right. So as per BT3, so our main core units will come with Cranium for full defense, and you have Crest for the pushing and offensive push. Alright, now without further ado, we'll go into the deck build and I'll run you through on why I put some of these cards in the deck. Right, we begin with Digitamers, 5 of them. Right, 4 plus 1. Alright, so this is very straightforward. Anyone with Reboot gets 1000. So it gives you the additional 1 extra K power when you need to push for game or you want to push for anything that's resting possibly. This one I just added in just to make 5, so we have up to 5 Digitamers. So right, it's just this 5. Next we go to our level 3s. We have on level 3, first of all we have 4 Hagurumon, right? So Hardcast 2, it's basically, it allows you to just potentially memory stuff people or just cast something small if you need to. Next we have 4 Caramon. So we want Caramon for its ESS ability, where during your opponent's turn, whatever Digimon is on top of it will get an additional 1000, perfect for blocking. Last but not least, for Toyagumon. So his ESS allows whoever on top of him to gain Reboot. Why Reboot? We'll see later on. So that's it for our level 3s. We have 4, 4, and 4. Defensive, we go for Caramon. Offensive, we go for Toy. And Haguru is just, it's a 2 vanilla. Next, for level 4, we play 3 Greymon. He's part of the pushing power, so his ESS basically allows that whoever's on top of him, as long as they have Reboot, they get jamming. So you don't have to be worried. You can go into an ultimate on top of him and attack without worry on the security. Generally, he won't die, except if you're up against maybe something like a big burst like Gaia Force, Terra Cluster, or Cocytus Breath. Option cards would destroy him, but generally, even if you're up against security and they check something like Omega or Ragnarlord, anything with 14-15k power, he still won't die, jamming. Next, we have 4 blockers, Gadromon. I feel that although he doesn't allow you to attack during his turn, but because of the 7k power, he's a very strong blocker. And on top of that, if you were to combine him or if you were to evolve him on top of Caramon, he becomes an 8k blocker, which potentially blocks almost everything up to level 5s. Finally, we go for more blocker. This is a bit different. This is more of a 4-2, 5k, still a blocker. With Caramon, he becomes 6k, but I just put him for mainly for the blocking capability. His 5k generally you stop mostly on level 3s and some level 4s. Some. Right. So on the champion side, level 4, we have 7 blockers and 3 Greymon. Right. Now let's go to level 5. On level 5, we have 4 Andro1 blocker, enough said. 2 Meta Greymon. His skill basically gives whenever you go for his ESS, right? So if anything on top of him has Reboot, he gets an additional security check. So he is sort of your pusher. His ESS becomes a pusher, and on top of that, Not to mention, he has Reboot. He's a Reborn Soul. So if he's on top of Greymon, he's a Jammer. 7k Jammer. Last but not least, we played 4 Informon, Hardcast, or when he appears, you de-digivolve one thing. I'll show you why instead of, I would say, he's like half defensive and half offensive. Why is that? I'll show you right later once we hit the level 6. Right? So just a recap, our level 5 is 4 Informon, 2 Metal, and 4 Andro. Now we go on to our level 6. We have, without doubt, 4 Craniamon, blocker, and he protects basically everything on the field. What blockers you have here? You have Andromon, that's 4. We have 8 over here. So that's potentially, including he himself, this deck consists of up to 4, 4, 4, and last another 4 here, 16 blockers. So out of the Digimon, 16 of them are blockers already. Whereas the other level 4, which is, I would call it sort of like the main character, you have 4 Crest Garuru, right? 4 Crest Garuru. You want him for the reboot, and mainly you want him for his Digivolution skill. So what he does is, when you Digivolve into him by paying 4, you go into, for every card in your opponent's field, excluding their hatching, you would look at the top card of your deck, the equal number. So let's say if they have 3, you look for the top 3, reveal it, and then just play anything level 5 and below. So what you want to target with his skill, with Crest skill, is generally you want to target Informon, which basically immediately de-digivolve something big. Or you could just go for any of the other 12 blockers that we have. If not, if you're going for level 3s, right. Toyagumon is good, it helps build a reboot. Caramon is good, it builds a defense. Hagurumon, not so good, but generally if you're looking at so many, you have a better chance of bringing out something big. Right. Next. 4 Joes. In this deck, I don't play Tai, I play Joe. Mainly is because I kind of like, the more Joe, you get more memories. Tai gives you up to 3 only. Joe can give you more, potentially more than that. But the only setback is you need to keep 1 blocker on the field for his skill to run. But besides that, I feel like he's okay. Next, we finally go for our option card. This one is really up to you, really. So what I do is I play 3 Breath of the Gods for more defensive capability. So this card basically stops you when you combo with Cranium itself. Cranium basically stops all destruction option card, such as Trump Sword, Gaia Force, whereas Breath of the God stops stuff like Kokito's Breath, Glorious Burst, yeah. He stops Terra Cluster he stops Terra Cluster. Breath of the God. So with that, out of all the big bursters, Gaia Force, Terra Cluster, Kokito's Breath, whatnot, these 2 cards basically protects everything. But the only setback is he chooses 1 unit. Right. Next, the last one is this. We go for commons from BT03. So what he does is, for every reboot and every card with reboot or blocker, they gain 1 additional security check. So basically this card is the one you cast and you push for game. So ideally, for your option cards, it's really up to you. If you want to go more for defensive, I would play more Breath of the God, and offensive power will go for this, for the security attack. And then ideally you want Metal Greymon, and you want to evolve into Crest, because Crest has reboot, immediately automatically you get 2 security check. So what about for Cranium? Best is if we could go for Toyagumon in his ESS. So generally I won't attack with him. So under his under the champion line, it's fine for me whichever line goes into Cranium. Then after that, same for ultimates. Mainly for Cranium, I just want Toyagumon to be in the evolution source so that once I block, next turn, when I end my turn, I go for a reboot again. So he never dies, or he can never be targeted. Right, so that comes to the end of our deck build, our black deck build. I'll call it half offensive, half defensive. So depending on how you like to build a deck. But yep, this is my black half offense, half defense. Right. So hopefully, if you find this video interesting and if you have learned something out of it, or perhaps there's something you would change in this deck, do let us know in the comment section. Please like, share, and subscribe. So before we end the video, I'm just going to lay out the whole deck over here. Right, so this is 2, 3. Some people may say 4 Joes might be a bit overkill, but I think I like more memories. The more memories we have, the more we can do. And also with the release of BT3, there's a lot of cards like Craniamon, which blocks memory gaining from any other sources besides Tamer. So having more Tamer is definitely a good thing, right? So that's for Crest over here. Next, for our ultimate lines, we have 4 Andro, 2 Metal, and then 4 Informer. For this side, probably you could go for 3-3 if you want it to balance out. If, as you can see in my build, I went more for, in my ultimate lines, I went more for a defensive build. Whereas in my champion line, I go more for full defense. Okay? And then for rookie, we have this, Toyagumon, and last one, Craniamon. Some you might also want to consider under the rookie line, you might want to change this last one for Gotsumon. So at the very least, each of your rookies have some sort of use depending on the situation that you find yourself in. Right, so this comes to the end of our video, and I hope you enjoy it. Bye!